What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Zatima. This is Season 2, Episode 18, and the episode is titled Pride to the Side. So, we start this episode off with the confrontation between Fatima and Connie. So, Connie is just like, Zach sent me over here to turn on the alarm system. So, Fatima's response to that was, has Zach told you about me? And I'm just like, I thought y'all have already crossed paths together. Like, when y'all was at the hospital the last time. So, next thing you know, Deja is trying to chime in. They both tell Deja to go into the house. And Deja, she's like, well, I sue people. She says that after Connie told her that they were both going to beat Deja up. And we learned that Connie is on Section 8, has 3 kids, and she has a record. I was like, wow, we're learning so much about little Miss Connie, aren't we? So, Connie, she goes on to explain that she was over to Zach's house because she had to turn on his alarm. I feel like she said this about 4 or 5 times. And then she goes on to tell Fatima about Zach's mom ODing, and Connie tells her that she needs to go to the hospital. Fatima, you need to go support Zach. But Fatima is still trying to get down to the nitty gritty of Connie and Zach's relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this connection? Now, Connie is just trying to, get this woman to go to the hospital, okay? She is trying to convince Fatima to go see about Zach. Honestly, watching this, I'm drained because this situation is dragging. Like, I get that Zach may possibly be losing his mother, but at the same time, I need Fatima to focus on herself. I really do. Like, she has yet to do that. Everything is still revolving around Zach, and I'm tired of it. I really am. So, Connie, she gives up on trying to tell Fatima to go see Zach, and Fatima ends up going into the house because she says she ain't going. I was like, good, don't go. So, next thing you know, we see Tony. He shows up at the hospital. Now, he's there to support Zach, and Zach, he's putting up this front that he's good, even though he's really hurting that his mom may possibly die. And honestly, y'all, here's my thing, okay? Because Jeremiah comes back and he goes again blaming Zach for everything. And I just feel like, Zach, why are you going back and forth with this man who clearly needs to go to rehab? Like, at this point, Zachary, I'm looking at you crazy because instead of you bringing them to therapy, you should have took both of their asses to a rehab center. Your mama and your brother, okay? Now, Tony, he's trying to, get one of them to leave, go get food, go do something to leave this hostile, situation here, but neither one of them are budging. So now they just go sit in silence. I'm like, okay, that works for me as well. Because I am so tired of hearing Zach and Jeremiah go back and forth. So now we see Angela and Sam. Because at this point, this is now the morning or whatever. And he's about to head on out. He wants to come over, again the next night. And she kind of hesitant about it. But y'all, I really want more for Angela. Like, I feel like because back in the day, there was always the trope of the fat girl not getting no play, not getting no action, not, having a man. That now we want to just throw them into hypersexuality to where like, oh, every guy's sleeping with them, whatever. But we don't really give them any type of solid relationship. And that's a problem for me. Like, I really want to see Angela happy in a relationship, going out on dates. I don't just want to see her laid up in the bed with some man. Like, there has to be more to life than this. Come on now. And no, I don't want her back with Bryce. We can go ahead and let that go. But nonetheless, we see Fatima. She shows up and she tells Angela about Zach's mom. So she also tells her that she's not going to the hospital. Now, Fatima, she feels like the last time that she showed up for Zach, especially at the hospital, he tripped out on her, he spazzed on her, and she cannot predict how he's going to react when he sees her. And honestly, I kind of forgot about that. About the last time how he was acting so cold towards Fatima. So yeah, girl, I wouldn't go either. So she ends up telling Angela that she's just going to go into work early, even though Angela is still trying to convince her that she should go to the hospital and she should go check on Zach. However, Fatima said no. So we actually go back to the hospital, y'all. And here's the weird thing. The men have moved to another section of the hospital. They're in a whole other seating area now. And Nate, he ends up showing up with Belinda. So, of course, Zach doesn't want to see her there. Tony is like, why is she here? And Nate is up here lying, saying that his car wouldn't start and he had to get a ride from Belinda. Nigga, why is you lying? So Tony, he checks Nate about Belinda being there. He's like, listen, you could have called me. You could have called a rideshare. You have other options. Why is this woman here? And then here goes Belinda. She over here acting like she actually cares about Zach. Girl, no, you don't. You just nosy. You trying to be up in these people's business, okay? So Nate, he ends up telling Belinda that she needs to leave, but she says she ain't going nowhere. Like, she questions, where's Fatima? And now all the guys are really saying, listen, you gotta go. So she walks away from where they are, but she does not leave. And then Tony, he ends up kicking Nate out. And I don't blame him, because Nate, why are you even here, number one? Even though I know that Tony invited him. But sir, why are you here, especially if you're going to bring somebody who has stirred up a lot of drama in this man's life? This ain't the time or the place for that. So, next thing you know, after all of that done happened, Jeremiah, he tries to start up another argument. And baby, nobody wants to hear it. They really don't. So he ends up walking away, and Zach is like, he's going to go get high again. And I'm like, well, damn, how much drugs is this man carrying on him? Because leave it to Zach, this man is getting high every 10 minutes. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and move on. So we see Angela. She comes to see Fatima at work. I said, baby, one thing about Angela, she is never going to be at her job. She's always going to pop up on Fatima. So Angela actually decides to question Fatima about, was work helping her, keep her mind off of Zach or what? And Fatima is like, it started to work and then it just stopped. So again, Angela tells her, I'm not going to push you to go to the hospital, even though I think that that's where you should go. She does tell her that, she's always going to be there for her if she ever needs anything. And baby, next thing you know, Fatima looks over to the side because, in her office, there's just a bunch of glass walls. She happens to see Bryce, and he's there with another woman, right? So, come to find out, y'all, Bryce is now seeing somebody who is working at Fatima's office. I guess she's like an assistant something. I know maybe she wasn't an assistant. Was she like a junior attorney or something? She had some type of title. I can't remember what it was. But nonetheless, Angela, she decided to get up and confront Bryce about what he's doing at Fatima's job, okay? So she ends up asking him all these questions about who the girl is, how they met, all this stuff. And then he calls her out for, having men in and out of her house. And he tells her that, she judges him, but her life ain't no better. And I was like, you know what? I can't even knock him for saying that to Angela, because at the end of the day, you have been feeling a way about the fact that this man is comfortable in his sexuality. He's interested in men as well as women, and you seem to have a problem with it. However, you don't have a problem with the fact that you have been sleeping with all types of men here, there, everywhere. They come in your house, out your house. It is what it is. So I don't even mind Bryce clapping back at her, because Angela has been quite annoying with the way she has been approaching Bryce and his lifestyle. If that's not even the word I want to use, because I hate when people say lifestyle. The way he chooses to date. That's what I'll say. So next thing you know, she's like, so are you going to introduce us? Y'all, he ends up walking away from her with the new girl. And I was like, you know what? Good for you, Bryce. Because Angela, he don't need to introduce you. Relax. You only dated him for a brief moment. nonetheless, y'all, we gotta slide on over to Bryce, okay? And his date. So, old girl ends up leaving, right? And when she walks away, we see Sam walk up. Yes, the same Sam who was just in Angela's bed. Baby, he's a waiter. Who knew? He is a waiter at this restaurant. And when he sees Bryce, or should I say when Bryce sees him, Bryce starts to laugh. And he's like, oh yeah, I know you from somewhere. And the guy was like, nah, I don't know you. And then Bryce, he name dropped Angela. Like, yeah, you know, from Angela. Sam was like, I don't know what you talking about, but your credit card declined. I'm sorry, but I hollered. I was like, Bryce, why you ain't got no money? That's a problem. So next thing you know, I think he ended up giving Sam a separate card to try. And he ends up getting on the phone, calling somebody named Jody or whatever. And he's telling him like, yo, can you check my accounts? Because for some reason my card got declined. Baby, why they basically told him that all his funds is gone. So Sam comes back. He's like, listen, this card is declined as well. And just to think, y'all, Bryce was hounding Zachary about buying a property. And I'm just like, you didn't even have the funds yourself, and you're hounding Zach about this? That's crazy. So, next thing you know, Bryce, he basically feels some type of way because Sam is telling him, like, listen, you got to get up from this table. You know what I'm saying? Because this is how I make my money, and you're holding a table when I could really be having somebody sit here. You gonna have to move to the side. And here goes Bryce. Man, don't you see that I'm going through something? That ain't Sam's problem, baby. That's on you not having your money together. So after that, Bryce has to go stand over somewhere in a corner. He also tries to call Zach or whatever, because if his money's funny, I guess Zach's money is funny as well. Zach ain't answering because he dealing with his family stuff. So my question was this though. I was like, sir, if you and Zach have a business together, were you trying to put this meal on the company card? Or did all of your assets get frozen? I'm just curious. Because, I don't know, that's a little weird. But nonetheless, Bryce ends up calling Fatima because he tried to track down Zach. He ain't answering. And she's telling him, like, listen, he dealing with some family stuff. So now you have Bryce stressed out because his money's frozen. He can't get in touch with Zach. Like, it sounds like this is about to be a hot mess, okay? So next thing you know, Connie, she's in Zach's car and she calls Fatima to tell her that she needs to be with Zach. Y'all, why is Connie really out here rolling around in this expensive ass car in the projects? Like, at this point, I'm just so ready for somebody to, like, rob this car or, like, steal the rims or something. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, Connie, she continues to try to tell Fatima that she's the one. She's doing too much. She needs to go be there with Zach. I'm completely drained, okay? Because Connie is like, you know, Zach, that's like my family. And Fatima is like, girl, fuck your family. And I'm just like, exactly. Fuck Zach. So Connie, she tells her again. I mean, like, at this point, I was like, I should probably take a shot every time that this girl tells her to go to the hospital or go see about Zach. Because, baby, when I tell you I will be towed up from the flow up, like straight up drunk off of that, because this was just Aggie at this point. I'm like, how many times are you going to tell her? Like, just hang up the phone. Please, hang up the phone. So, next thing you know, Angela, she comes in again. Why is she not at her job? But nonetheless, she comes in and she's telling Fatima, you need to go to the hospital. Like, y'all are dragging this. Tyler, you had nothing else going on for these people to talk about or do. So, y'all, we finally see Fatima do what? Go to the hospital, okay? We see her and Belinda. They kind of got into it. They exchanged words. And she ends up kicking Belinda out. So then she goes to sit by Zach, and they talk a little bit about how, what's his name, Jeremiah, he tried to make it seem like it was Zach's fault. And of course, she has to tell him, Zach, it's not your fault. So now we got to come coddle Zachary like we always do. Because next thing you know, what is Zach doing? He's crying in Fatima's arms. And y'all, I just want to let y'all know right now, I don't want to see Zach cry no more. I'm tired of his tears. I'm tired of the yelling. I'm tired of the whining. I'm exhausted, okay? And then he basically tells her that he can't handle it if she leaves him and all this stuff. And she had the audacity to promise him that she won't leave. I said, Fatima, no, he's trapping you. He's trapping you down right now. And next thing you know, the doctor comes up and she ends up walking up to say to Zach, like, oh, I'm so sorry. And that is where the episode ends. So either she's going to say, oh, I'm so sorry that your mom passed away. Or it could be, oh, I'm so sorry that your mom, she's unconscious still. Who knows what they're going to say. But y'all, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.